Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chairman and CEO, Salesforce.com, Mark Benioff.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Cloudforce 2010. We are absolutely thrilled that you are here this morning. Welcome. I just got back from living in Japan for a month, so I'll say to you, Ohayo gozaimasu, which is good morning in Japanese. And I just want to tell you how excited we are to have all of you here this morning. Now, we've been doing these Cloudforce programs all over the world. I just got back from doing them in Tokyo and Osaka and Singapore. And before that, we were doing them in New York. We've done them in Australia, in London, and we're so excited on our world tour to be here in San Jose. And as you can see, what turned out essentially starting as a small seminar on cloud computing has turned into a multi-thousand person event. And we want to thank all of you for coming here today. And for those of you who we could not accommodate in person, we have about 10,000 people online with us on the live feed as well. We want to welcome you to this exciting program. Look, my job this morning is to do three things to you. It's, of course, to educate you on cloud computing. It's to excite you on the changes that are happening to our industry. And it is to energize you, to show you what is possible. And at a fundamental level, what I want to do is inspire you. I want to show you what is possible in our new industry. Because believe me, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you after traveling all over the world that things are really changing. The world is really changing. Our industry is really changing. And what customers want from our industry is changing. And the power of that simple idea is that technology is always moving forward. It's always getting lower cost. It's always getting easier to use. And that continuum of technology, when you can drive it, when you can grab it, when you can get a hold of it, well, you can change an entire industry. You don't have to go any farther to understand that than this morning. For those of you arriving, probably noticed that Microsoft had kind of sent a legion of employees out in front of the convention center today. Amazing. Handing out these brochures, protesting cloud computing. They want it stopped. Microsoft wants this cloud thing stopped. Amazing. I guess you know you've made it in software when Microsoft is protesting your event. Or maybe when they've sued you. I don't know. But it is kind of unbelievable that this would happen. I mean, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in my career. I mean, if this is not a sign that cloud computing is happening, then I don't know what a sign is. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the largest and most important change that's ever happened. And Microsoft is the largest computing company in our industry. But for them to send employees here, well, what does that mean? It means that it's even bigger than we even expected it to be. More exciting. Before I go any farther, I have to tell you, Salesforce.com is a publicly traded software company. This is our safe harbor statement. We're traded on the NYSE under their ticker symbol CRM. And I can tell you that while certainly we used to protest ourselves when we were a small upstart company, we do hire great developers. We don't really hire lawyers. We believe in innovation. We believe in excitement. We believe in energy, and we want to do that for you today. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we are an evangelist. We are a catalyst. We are a driver of cloud computing. That's our job. That's why I get on the road, leave my office in San Francisco, and come out to great distances like here in San Jose. And it has been a phenomenal experience doing this over the last 11 and a half years, to see the industry take off and to see our company take off too. We're now the first cloud computing company to exceed $1.5 billion in our revenue run rate. And we're delighted to tell you that we have more than 77,300 companies. We've had just spectacular growth over the last 11 and a half years because the cloud is where it's at. We've been talking about how applications have been moving to the cloud. And that's, so many of you have joined us with that. You've started software as service companies, you've started application companies, bringing the cloud into your company. And then we came up with a great idea. Hey, the cloud doesn't have to just be for running software. No, the cloud can be also for building software. What if there was a platform as a service? What if the actual tenants, the fundamental building blocks of building software and delivering it to customers, the servers, the application servers, the databases, the security, what if that was delivered as a service? And now platforms are becoming into the cloud. Awesome. And we're going to talk about this today. A huge wave of collaboration is moving to the cloud, and we've badly needed this because we've been stuck in old paradigms like IBM Lotus Notes and in Microsoft SharePoint and other collaboration tools that were, well, they were mostly conceived of, well, maybe before Mark Zuckerberg was. And the other great thing about the cloud that I love is that it serves companies of every size, small, medium, and large. How many people here in this company, in this room, how many people in this room work for companies with less than 100 employees? Raise your hands. Pretty awesome. How many people here work for companies with more than 100 employees? How many with more than 1,000 employees? You know, it used to be everyone with a small company idea, go over here to this seminar. And medium companies, go over here. And large companies, well, you go over here at the expensive seminar, and we're going to, give you a lot of expensive food and all that. Well, we have expensive food, too, for everybody. But we don't break things out like that because we believe that this democratization of technology, that this is the power of the cloud. Yes, we run the biggest and most important companies in the world. We're the enterprise global standard for these companies. Huge implementations like where I just was at the Japan Post, Japan's national post office, bank, insurance company, 25,000 locations. They've got 100 million savings accounts. They move 1.6 billion packages a day. They've got over 100,000 users running a dozen Force.com applications. Pretty cool. And I bet there's a lot of startups in here who are also using Salesforce.com. And they're all running on the same server. And that's just amazing to me. And this is a breakthrough that we can all grab onto. The cloud computing model, you probably know a lot about it. It's got that shared characteristic. We're sharing services. It's very efficient. You pay as you go. You don't take on all the risk up front. You don't have to buy all the software and hardware and then try to assemble it and get it going. It's all pre-integrated. And it's elastic. As you grow, if you're a startup and you have 10 users and you become a company like Salesforce that has now almost 5,000 employees, well, we go with you. And it's real time. Everything is happening in real time because it's the internet. But I have to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, something amazing about cloud computing. Salesforce.com, as I mentioned, has over 77,000 customers. 77,000 customers all over the world. And we have about, well, let me not tell you that quite yet. I was with actually a good friend of mine who's a Microsoft executive, Craig Mundy. And I was having this very conversation with him, and I got to that point in the conversation. I said, Craig, how many servers do you think Salesforce.com has? Or maybe I should ask it this way. If Salesforce.com did not exist, he said, well, I like that part. I said, no, Craig, if Salesforce.com did not exist, how many servers do you think for scale, for disaster recovery, for backup, for production, would those 77,300 customers have to buy? For all the multiple apps that they're running and for all the capabilities that they're doing, how many servers would those 77,300 companies have to buy, Craig? And, we're up there in Davos, Switzerland, in this little ski town. He goes, well, I think it would probably be well over 100,000 servers. And I said, you know what, Craig, that's probably right. And Salesforce.com, in our data centers, we have 3 global data centers, has a total of about 3,000 servers. We have a total of about 3,000 total servers, and they're Dell R900 PCs. And here's the thing that's amazing about Salesforce.com. Half of those servers are idle. They're just staged for disaster. That's amazing. So you look at that kind of efficiency, that's a 3% efficiency. And we see that consistently in the cloud computing industry, not just with us, but with so many other vendors, that they're able to do so much more with so less. That is efficiency. But I have to tell you, and after being now in Asia and spending a month in Asia, that there is something also happening in our industry. And that is a lot of the traditional enterprise solutions companies, the software companies, the hardware companies, the networking companies, many of them are starting to say, well, oh yeah, we heard Mark's pitch, yeah, but you know what, we have cloud computing too. We also have cloud computing. Oh, we know Mark has it, but we have that also. And in fact, I went to a major trade show, I won't give the name of it because I don't want to embarrass anyone, in Tokyo, and we had a booth there. And then another major company in the area, they had a booth, and it was about 20 times the size of ours, and on the outside of it, it said, software as a service, platform as a service, cloud computing, come in here, find out about this. I go, this is great. I can't wait to find out what's in this booth. So I walk in the booth, and I'm talking to the executive, and someone's translating for me. And I said, this is great. Tell me, where is this solution you have? And they said, right here. I said, right here? Yeah. And he pointed to a rack of computers. And he had all his computers racked up and his disks and everything. He said, this is our cloud computing solution. We've got cloud. I said, what does that mean? He goes, well, this rack is cloud computing enabled. It can go anywhere. It can go anywhere in the cloud. I said, it can go anywhere in the cloud. He goes, yes, anywhere in the cloud. You want it in your data center? Okay. You want it in our data center? Okay. You want to put it in another data center? It's cloud enabled. And I said, oh my gosh. We have something happening in our industry. We have something appearing in our industry that we have to be very careful of. We have to be careful, and we have to be aware of the false cloud. You see what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is that there is a false cloud emerging in our industry, and I can tell you firsthand because I have seen it. It's not efficient. It doesn't have that 3% efficiency. It's not democratic. It's not for small and medium and enterprise business, and you can know that. You can test that cloud computing vendor. You can ask them about their efficiency. You can say, and tell us about all the startups and medium and large companies. And it's not economical. It's not orders of magnitude less cost. And this is a huge thing that's going on because cloud computing is growing so fast and is becoming so exciting that everyone wants to be cloud computing, even those that are not. And as we've gone around the world, we've had this broad recognition for our technology model, for our business model. And we're also delighted to not only pioneer in these areas, but also to pioneer in the philanthropic model. The first day we started Salesforce.com, we took 1% of our equity, our stock, 1% of our profit, and 1% of all of our employees' time, which was me at the time, and we put it into a 501c3 public charity. And we said, now whatever Salesforce.com does will be linked into this foundation. Of course, it's very easy because we had no stock, we had no profit, we had no time. But now Salesforce has turned into a really exciting company. We'll deliver 200,000 hours of community service this year. We run over 8,000 nonprofits around the world for no charge, and we've given away $20 million out of our foundation. And I think we have some of those folks here in the audience. If you're with a nonprofit or a 501c3 public charity or part of this program, would you just stand up and be recognized? If you're with a nonprofit organization, will you just stand up and be recognized? Thank you very much. And the reason that I do that is because I really need the commercial organizations to help these nonprofits. They don't have as many technology skills and process skills, and they need the support of all of us to be successful. So please help them out. And wherever we go in the world, we always bring that foundation message to us. Now, while the company has been doing this, I've also tried to be as generous as I can personally, because certainly I've also benefited from cloud computing. But I'm also very happy to announce today here in San Jose a brand new initiative that I'm doing personally that I'd like to invite all of you into and ask your help with, both your ideas and anything, other resources that you can bring to bear. But we're going to build a brand new children's hospital at UCSF Mission Bay in San Francisco. Thank you. And I'm kicking off this hospital by personally giving $100 million to UCSF. I'm super excited about this, and thank you. Thank you very much. And this new hospital, this is so exciting because the building, which you can see right here on the screen, this is a combined children's hospital, women's hospital, and cancer hospital right on the new UCSF Mission Bay campus. If you're not familiar with the Mission Bay campus, as you're coming into San Francisco on the right side of 280, you'll see a bunch of new buildings that have been going up. It's a $5 billion development for UCSF. It's the only new college campus being built in the United States. Extraordinary. At an extraordinary time in the United States that UCSF has been doing that. And they have some very exciting buildings already up, including a major new orthopedic institute, a community center, Genentech Hall, creating new biotech opportunities, a neurosciences development hall coming up. But this hospital, this is a $1.5 billion hospital. This one building is $1.5 billion. And it will be the premier women's, children's, and cancer hospital in the world. And I can tell you that because the person leading it is extraordinary. She was a Salesforce.com customer at Genentech, which is when I first got to meet her. She was the president of Genentech, as well as a professor at UCSF and a medical doctor. It's my absolute delight and pleasure to introduce you to Sue Desmond-Hellmann, the Chancellor of the University of California, San Francisco. Please welcome her to Cloudforce 2010. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for being here today. Well, you know, I'm just completely excited about number one, that you're part of UCSF now. Thank you for doing that and dedicating your career to this exciting initiative. And I'm super excited about this new hospital that you're going to build, and I'm happy to be a part of it. But can you tell us a little bit about what's happening at UCSF and how all my good friends here can help out?
I'd be thrilled to invite all of you to participate in this. First of all, let me just say that from UCSF's standpoint, Mark and Lynn Benioff are complete heroes. Their gift to us is transformative. The UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital will increase the number of beds we have for children by 33%. We'll have an on-site helipad, so critically ill children can be transported to our hospital. As Mark mentioned, one of the great biomedical research centers in the entire world, with 3 Nobel Prize winners, is right across the street, so all our groundbreaking discoveries can get to these children right away. This will be a green hospital, so we'll have a LEED Gold status. We'll have water conservation, rooftop gardens. It's a beautiful site for a green hospital. And last but not least, what this new hospital means is a family-friendly atmosphere. It'll be great for parents, for brothers and sisters. We'll have an on-site school there, and it'll be kid-friendly. So the environment will be a healing environment for the children who need this hospital.
Sue, I want to ask you something. UCSF Children's Hospital, one of the great things about UCSF Medical Center is it's not just a great hospital, but also you've got this medical school happening simultaneously in the hospital, and you've got this tremendous research institution as part of UCSF also happening right inside the hospital. How does that advance health worldwide?
So what really happens is that patient care, research, and teaching are mixed in a way that fundamentally changes what patients have access to at UCSF. If there's something new, better, exploratory, patients quickly have access to that. So the children who are cared for at the UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital will quickly get those discoveries, and then through our education and teaching, that gets disseminated all across the world for children, not only in San Francisco and the Bay Area, but worldwide.
Well, Sue, I'm so delighted to have you here. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
And I hope you'll be here later, because I'm sure there'll be some folks here who'd love to help out.
Thank you for inviting me, and I'd invite all of you to get involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sue. Sue Desmond-Hellman, thank you very much, Sue. And we would like to invite all of you to submit your ideas for this new hospital. You can do that at this website, ideas.ucsfbenioffchildrenshospital.org. It's a site that's live now. I know all of the creativity and inspiration here in this room and in all the places that I go around the world. If we could somehow grab it and tap into it, we can create the best hospital in the world and set a new standard for children's health, which is our goal. So I just want to thank you so much for being here to receive this message, and thank you so much, Sue, for your great leadership of UCSF. You know, one of the reasons I get so excited about being in our industry is that it's constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. It's constantly moving forward. I've seen that happen so many times, so much of it based right here in the Silicon Valley. You know, starting with the mainframe computers and then evolving into mini computers, moving from mini computers into client-server computing, moving from client-server computing into desktop internet computing, and now this kind of new shift, this kind of tsunami that's hitting us today, which is mobile internet computing. I've never seen anything so extraordinary in my life. It is a huge shift. How many people here already have an account, for example, on Facebook? Can you raise your hands? Is that all? How many people here have an account on Twitter? Raise your hands. You know, it's incredible. Everywhere I go around the world, it doesn't matter if it's San Jose or Asia or Europe, it's happening. In fact, did you know that in 2009, social networking users passed email users? If that's not a huge sign for all of us to take note of, I don't know what is. I mean, what we're doing on the internet is really changing every day. Just look at these statistics. Look at the amount of time that users are spending increasingly on Facebook, on YouTube, on search. And as you look at the next generation of sites that are emerging on the internet, well, it's just different than the last generation of sites. It's a whole different type of capability. You know, the sites that maybe we were using in '95, maybe the first time we got on the internet, well, in many cases have gone away. And they've been replaced with this next generation. But it's not just what we are doing on the internet that's changed, it's how we're doing it. How many people here have an iPhone with them? Can you raise your hands? How many people here have a BlackBerry? How many have an Android device? How many people have an iPad here or at home? You know, smartphones, notebook PCs, tablets, the fastest growing part of computing today. And why? Well, they're cloud viewers. They've been designed to really work with the cloud. And they're kind of leaving that last generation of desktop PCs behind. Just look at these growth rates as an example. Desktop computers are a lot like Microsoft's stock price, flat. And here's the thing. Amazing. It's amazing. You don't have to go very far to realize that we're going through a huge shift in our industry. From the first generation of the internet, which was a lot about Amazon.com and eBay and Google, to the second generation of the internet, which is a lot like Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, iPad, iPhone, Android, collaboration, real-time, mobile. I mean, this is the world we're living in today. But we have to make these changes not just in our consumer lives or at home or with our families or with our friends, but in our enterprises. And this is a big change for us. How do we move from Cloud 1 to Cloud 2? I mean, I've been thinking about this now for quite a few years. I'm like, how do we all make this shift? How do we open the door and get everyone through it? In 1999, when I first started Salesforce.com, I asked myself a simple question. Why is all enterprise software not like Amazon.com? I loved Amazon.com. So easy to use, easy to get onto, had the browser. I was sitting at my desktop, working on my, PC. I had my monitor, and I said, gosh, I didn't install anything. I didn't upgrade anything. It was so easy, low cost. Why is all enterprise software not like Amazon.com? But today I'm asking myself a new question, and it's the question I'd like all of you to ask too. Why isn't all enterprise software like Facebook? Because today there's 500 million people on Facebook, and soon there's going to be 1 billion. And they're doing things in an application that we've never seen, a level of collaboration, a level of communication, a level of sharing never before possible. How can we take that action on Facebook but make it secure and private? How can we bring in the enterprise qualities that we need? We need a Facebook imperative in this industry. I wrote about that on TechCrunch. I wrote a blog post called The Facebook Imperative. And when I came up with this simple idea, I just recognized we're moving from Amazon.com as the model on the internet to Facebook. We're moving from that tab-based interface that we loved to a feeds-based interface. We're moving from pulling our data, where we had to pull the information off and out of the internet, where the information is now really being pushed to us. We're not using our mouses to click, we're touching our computers. We're using these smartphones and tablets instead of our desktops. We're mobile, we're not fixed, our location is known. It's not anonymous anymore. We've moved from that paradigm of kind of Windows and Macintosh and into Cocoa and HTML5 as the primary application vehicles. And where we had to integrate or do self-integration of software, well, now we're really able to kind of move into marketplaces of applications, marketplaces of app stores and app exchanges. We're making this change from Cloud 1 to Cloud 2. In our industry, people are always overestimating what you can do in a year, but they underestimate what you can do in a decade. That's the nature of our industry. That's the nature of our industry. To really emphasize this, I really wanted to come up with a key graphic for my slides. So I said, put George Bush over there on the left and put President Obama on the right. My marketing people said, no, you can't do that. Offend everybody. So they gave me some anonymous guy on the left of the slide, and on the right I only got one right hand, actually. And that was it. But you get the point. Things change in our industry in a decade. Look at this slide. Apple surpasses Microsoft in market cap. It's why those guys are outside. They don't like it. They do not like this because the world has changed and it's empirical. We're moving to this new desktopless world, and we all need to move into it. We need to move our companies into it, and we need to move our enterprises into it, and that is our Facebook imperative. We need to welcome to Cloud 2. We're rewriting all of our software for this. Our architecture is changing. I'll walk you through this later. Our infrastructure, our development platform, our new collaboration platform. We're making the fundamental changes. We're rewriting our apps, our sales cloud, our service cloud, our new customer service and solution that was only a year old. We've rewritten it for this new paradigm. We've created a new application called Chatter for this paradigm, and we're changing everything at Salesforce.com to embrace this idea. And our core platform, Force.com, the platform for cloud apps that our customers use to build their own apps, or ISVs use to build their own apps, we're changing that as well, and we're bringing these new capabilities in. We realize the apps that you are using look different. And that means that you need a new type of platform and new applications, and we want to help you do that. That's why today we're releasing our first enterprise-wide app ever in the history of Salesforce, and it's called Chatter. And if you're a Salesforce.com customer, well, you get it for no charge. The upgrade has already happened. You already have the new technology. This isn't like Windows 7 or Office 2010 where you're waiting and you're going to have to pay for the upgrade and you've got a stage when you're going to do it. You've got it. It's free and it's already in your system. All you have to do is turn it on. Just go to salesforce.com/chatter/get started and it'll show you how to turn Chatter on right inside your Salesforce implementation. In fact, over 6,000 customers yesterday turned it on for the first time, in addition to the 1,000 that were already in beta. So for everybody else, please come on into this new Chatter environment. And if you want to bring Chatter enterprise-wide for every employee, it's $15 per user per month, so that your whole company can go on Chatter. And we've been hearing that from our customers, that they want a low-cost, affordable way to bring Chatter through the entire organization. So let's give you a demonstration of this great new technology. We've rewritten Sales Cloud 2 with Chatter, with this capability. To help me give a demonstration of it, please welcome, from San Francisco, Craig Swenson, our Senior Vice President of Product Marketing. Craig, welcome.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, Craig.
So I have the privilege today. Cheers. I have the privilege today of being able to show you some technologies that nobody has ever seen before. And it's all part of Chatter, and it's all part of Sales Cloud 2. Now, many of you know who are Sales Cloud 2 customers that Salesforce.com is the Sales Cloud leader in terms of market leadership and product innovation, and most importantly to us, customer success. You know, our customers are really succeeding across every major metric of Salesforce automation. Not only win rates and deal size, but revenue, which is obviously important to everybody. And for those Sales Cloud customers that were in our Chatter private beta, this is a key statistic for us. 22% productivity increase by using Chatter in your sales organization with Sales Cloud 2. Absolutely amazing. And for those thousands of customers that were part of our Chatter private beta, here's the key thing for us. We're hearing words that in the enterprise software industry you don't typically hear. You hear them about Facebook and Twitter and Android and iPad and iPhone, but here's what people are saying about Chatter. It's amazing, it's revolutionary, I love it, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, it's a killer app. So we think we've got a killer app on our hands with Chatter. And the reason Sales Cloud customers in particular are so excited about Chatter is because this solves a critical problem for sales reps. How do I stay on top of everything that I need in my business to close my deals, to satisfy my customers? How do I figure out who to connect with inside of my company, who can help me win my deal? How do I figure out the latest information from the marketing team, the collateral, the pricing, the operations, all the documents that are spread across file servers and email and everywhere? How do I hunt for the information across systems? How do I dig for the information in the Oracle financial system? I can't do that as a sales rep. And the legacy of software collaboration tools is not going to bring us to the future, because those tools are stuck in the past. And so at Salesforce.com, of course, we're looking to the future. We're looking to Cloud 2. And as Mark was mentioning, you know what? Facebook has showed us a better way. Facebook has invented this new paradigm of collaboration in our personal life with status updates and profiles and feeds and filters. These are new features and new technologies. And of course, we all know as end users of this technology, we're empowered. And when we connect with our family and our friends and our classmates, the insights stream to us and we learn things that we otherwise would never have known. But what do we do in our companies? And what do we do for our sales organizations? You know, when we first sat down to write the first few lines of code of Chatter, this was our mantra. What if enterprise sales organizations and enterprise collaborations worked like Facebook? But of course, for our business, they would have to be private, secure, and trusted. And of course, that's what Salesforce.com is known for. And so today, we're so excited to introduce Chatter. It's part of the Sales Cloud. It's part of all of our products. But it's built for sales professionals to work like Facebook and allow you to follow the people, the documents, and the applications across your sales organization that you need to succeed. You know, as Mark was saying, we didn't build a separate collaboration platform. We didn't build it on the side. It's not bolt-on software that you have to plug into the Sales Cloud. It is at the heart of Salesforce automation, and it is at the heart of Sales Cloud 2. Chatter works with every major feature across our product. But there's no better way for me to convey this to you right now than to show you a live demonstration. So let's go ahead and bring up the demo of Sales Cloud 2. Now, many of you, of course, know this screen. Many of you are customers in the room. This is the sales application. You can see that in the upper right-hand portion of the screen. Here we are in sales. And the hyperlinks across the top of the screen, these represent the core functions of the sales application. So managing your customer accounts, managing your contacts, managing your big deals and your opportunities and your analytics and dashboards. But right there in the middle of the screen, you not only see your dashboards, everything you use to track your deals and where you are on the leaderboard and where you are against your quota, but you see Chatter front and center in the sales application with the user profile link. And now every single user in your sales organization and your extended sales organization out to your entire company has Chatter. So when we click on this hyperlink, many of you in the room I know are in the beta, you know you're brought to your work profile. And it looks like Facebook and it acts like Facebook. You can upload your photo, your contact information, your expertise, your work history. And so this facilitates people around the company connecting to work together to close deals. But it's all about business. So instead of status updating about what you had for breakfast or something that's happening in your personal life, here in Chatter, you're status updating about your work, questions you have, documents you're working on. In this case, our sales rep here, Scott Thompson, is looking for a reference in the media industry. And now everybody who's following Scott can collaborate to bring that reference to light. But it's not just following people. And here's the critical thing. Here's the critical thing with Chatter, is that it's not just following people. It's following documents and data in addition to people. Following a product price list, following the marketing collateral, following updates from your competitive team, following your top customers, following your big deals, following your critical support cases before your customers have the opportunity to get frustrated and leave you. And everything you're following manifests itself right on the homepage of Salesforce. So, of course, we look to Facebook and we look to Twitter. The feed is on the homepage. So here in Chatter now, the Chatter feed is right on the homepage of Salesforce. And here, in real time, everything that you care about as a sales professional is streaming to you right in the feed. You can see updates from people like Nicole in marketing, who's wondering how she can help you prospect. You can see updates from documents like operations changing the discount matrix on a price list, and every sales rep wants to know that immediately as it happens. You can see updates from data like a support case that's been escalated to critical, and everybody across the company dogpiling on that to resolve the issue. And you can even see updates from non-Salesforce apps because Chatter is a platform. How about here on the screen, Oracle Financials chattering to the sales rep that a customer hasn't paid their bill. But to so many reps, it's all about closing deals. That's really the focus. That's the focus of the Sales Cloud. So right below that, you can see updates, chatter from your opportunities, saying that a competitor has been added by somebody else on the team. And even right below that, Jigsaw, an acquisition that Salesforce.com made just a couple months ago, is now included in Chatter. Many of you know that Jigsaw is a crowdsourced database of over 20 million B2B contacts. And now we've included that with Chatter, and we've included that with Sales Cloud too. So let's go ahead and click into the feed. The great thing is everything is a hyperlink, one integrated system. And when we click through on the contact, David Adelson, we've got some incomplete information. Chatter is telling us that the internet, that the cloud has more complete contact information for David Adelson. As you can see here, we don't even see the map. So we don't know where this gentleman is located. We don't have the up-to-date phone number. But with Jigsaw, we can just clean this database. We can clean the Sales Cloud, and we can go out to the cloud and get updated and complete contact information right here on the screen with one click. The internet is telling us, Jigsaw is telling us that it has more information, complete information. We select the fields that we want to bring into our own Sales Cloud. With the click of a mouse, we're back on the contact record, and there David Adelson has complete contact information provided by Jigsaw integrated with Sales Cloud too. But it's not just contact information. If you go up to the account screen, one thing that's brand new with Jigsaw is that you're going to notice Jigsaw has actually more people. And ahead of our big deal next week, ahead of our big customer sales call, we might want to go grab some information about some VPs that might be in the room. You can see here that in the Sales Cloud, in our database, we only have 2 contacts. But right below that, you can see that Jigsaw is telling us it's got almost 40 contacts in its database, and even 4 of those at the VP level. So just by clicking on the number 4, you actually can see a screen where Jigsaw is saying, you know what? We actually have 4 people at the VP level, and 2 of those folks are in the IT organization. We have the VP of IT and the VP of IT operations. So if we're on a big sales call next week and those guys walk in the room, wouldn't it be great to know something about those folks? Wouldn't it be great to have accurate titles, accurate contact information? And now we can just bring those into the Sales Cloud, once again, by clicking on our mouse. One integrated system that's running on the web, everything in real time. But for sales reps, it's all about deals, as I was mentioning. So right from the account screen, why don't we drill down into our big deal for this month, an opportunity with a company called Green Dot Media for about $700,000. Now, this is a familiar screen for so many of you in the room. This is where you track your deals, your opportunities, your products, your pricing, your forecast, everything that Salesforce.com is known for. But now, here's something that's really critical. Every single record in the system has its own chatter. You can follow it, just like you follow a person on Twitter or follow one of your friends on Facebook. You can follow deals. You can follow customers inside a chatter. And every single record has its own feed. So let's take a look. Let's expand the chatter feed on this opportunity. This becomes really a private collaboration space for just the people in the company who are working on this deal. You can see that somebody added a competitor. Everybody gets notified in real time. You can see that Jake updated the meeting agenda. How common is this? As sales teams, ahead of a big sales call that you're trying to close in a quarter, you got 5 or 10 people that are all sending information over email, thousands of emails going back and forth, PDFs and documents and PowerPoints and Word documents. No one knows who's got the latest version. It's a nightmare, this email nightmare. But there's a better way, because Salesforce.com provides the context for the deal. So you can now collaborate with Chatter right here in the Sales Cloud. You can share documents, share ideas. Let's go ahead and view this document. You can see that you can flip through always the latest meeting agenda. Everybody has an idea. Everybody can make recommendations on moving the agenda around, who's going to present, in what order should we present, what slide deck should we present, and you can see all that chatter happening right here on the screen. But many of you know that your sales teams are not all sitting in the same room. In fact, what are the odds your sales rep, your sales engineer, the product specialist, and the VP of sales are ever in the same room at the same time? It just doesn't happen anymore. We're living in a mobile world, and we expect now mobility from our enterprise applications. So let's go ahead and bring up the iPad. You can see here on the iPad that, of course, this new large form factor of the iPad allows you to run any application. You can actually now run Salesforce in the browser on the iPad. You can pinch the screen, full functionality. Everything I'm showing you with Chatter will, of course, work in the browser on the iPad. But right now, I actually want to give you a sneak peek into something nobody's ever seen before, something that we're building back in our labs, something that we're set to release later on this year, and that is the first ever native iPad app from Salesforce.com, and it is Chatter for the iPad. So let's go and see if we can get this thing to work. Salesforce.com running Chatter now natively on an iPad. Of course, we have our security information, and as soon as we bring it up, one thing you'll notice is that the Chatter feed is front and center. There's nothing to get in your way between you and accessing the Chatter feed. Of course, you can touch it, you can scroll it, you can move the system around. One cool thing about the Chatter app for the iPad is we're building it to allow you to browse your social graph, which are the connections between people inside of your company. You know, how do people get business done in your sales organization? How do they connect? Who's following who? You can see who your sales engineer is following. And really what this brings out in every sales organization are the hubs of knowledge, the pockets of knowledge inside of a company to figure out how do I connect with the right people at the right time to get the expertise, to get the competitive information to close my deal. And now it's all part of the iPad, and that's how we're designing this. But check this out. You orient it in landscape mode, and you get more functionality, you get more real estate on the left-hand side of the screen. This is where you're starting to see the filtering technology, where I can filter the Chatter feed to all chatter, just my chatter, create your own filters, and also you see groups there. We're going to get to that in just a second as well. But the Chatter iPad app works just like, in terms of functionality, in terms of real time, it works just like any device on the web. We can preview documents. There's the meeting agenda. And in fact, as a sales engineer, maybe I'm sitting in the airport, maybe I'm on 3G or Wi-Fi sitting at the airport, I actually can chatter to my team from wherever I am. So we can see the entire conversation thread, the same thing that you can see in the browser. But now check this out. Let's go ahead and create a comment and chatter on this document. Let's make a suggestion that we move things around in the meeting agenda to accommodate this new competitor, and maybe we should beef up on our information on competitive. Watch the screen on the left. Watch the screen behind the iPad. Because as soon as we chatter this information right here, it is reflected in real time around the system everywhere. And so, of course, as soon as Dan gets our Chatter iPad app working over here, everything happens in real time. That's kind of the nature of the web. That's the nature of Chatter. That's the nature of Sales Cloud too. So we'll show you this in the browser, and we can show you this a little bit later on in the demonstration. That's the nature of Sales Cloud too. It is real time. Everything works in real time. So back here inside of the browser, all those updates, whether it happens from the iPhone or the iPad or from the browser, everything gets notified to every individual on the sales team immediately as it's happening. So of course, our SE is saying, hey, let's beef up on some information in the competitive intelligence group. Well, in your sales organization, where would you go to get information on competitive intelligence? Would you go to a dead sales portal? Would you go to an intranet? Would you email spam everybody in your sales organization wondering who's got the latest information? Well, now shipping today to all Salesforce.com customers, a brand new feature of Chatter, Chatter Groups. And this allows anybody in your sales organization to spin up a group for competitive intelligence, a group for references, a group for your team. You don't need to ask your IT organization to do it. Everybody in your organization can spin up groups, collaboration spaces to exchange information. Here we are in the competitive group, and the cool thing is what you can see here on the screen, people are sharing ideas. People are sharing best practices. People are sharing war stories on how to win. People are sharing ROI models. People are sharing slide decks. And this type of information, it needs to be centralized in your organization, and that's really what Chatter provides. Now, as a sales rep, we don't actually have to go anywhere other than right here in Chatter to get this information. It's a completely integrated system, so it works with the content library that you guys might already be using from Salesforce.com that's part of Sales Cloud 2. And as a rep, what we would typically do is we take these slides, combine them together with other slides that we've got in our deck, and we try to create the killer pitch. If we've got a big sales call we're trying to go on next week to close our big deal, we want the killer pitch. And as soon as we think we've assembled the killer pitch, what always happens is we end up sharing that with everybody else on our team. We want to share it with our SE. We want to share it with the VP of sales. We want to share it with the guys in operations. We want to share it with a product specialist to make sure we're nailing it. And how do we do that? Do we, again, email spam everybody with our 20 megabyte PowerPoint attachment? We've all been there. We've all been to that place. We've all seen the email kicked back inside our company because our email inbox, our Exchange server is too small. Well, now you can share it in Chatter. And every time you see it in Chatter, it's reflected around the system everywhere. People can comment on it here. They can give ideas. We can reorder the slides, and we can work on it together. We can collaborate together as a sales organization to close our deals. And it's accessible from anywhere. Anytime I chatter right here on the screen, it's accessible from everybody on their mobile devices. Any browser, anywhere, any iPad, any iPhone, any BlackBerry, and later on this year, any Android device as well. Let's go ahead and bring back up the iPad. And what you're going to see here on the screen is, of course, exactly what I just chattered. That sales presentation is immediately reflected here on the iPad. It's not only on the iPad, but check this out. If we can zoom in on that a little bit, what you're seeing here on the screen is some pinch spread technology that we're building to allow you to just take a PowerPoint presentation and literally pinch it apart and view it on the screen. This is the type of thing that you can do on the iPad and these touch devices, a new type of user experience that we're bringing to market with Sales Cloud 2. And it's not only on the iPad, of course it's on the handheld, it's in your pocket. Here is Salesforce Mobile running on the iPhone, an application that many of you have already been using for many months. If we drill into the opportunity record here on Salesforce Mobile, we can see, if we scroll down, there's our big deal. There's our $700,000 deal. And now, on the iPhone, there is also Chatter. So take a look at the screens you see up here. The browser, the iPad, the iPhone, the BlackBerry, and coming soon to other devices as well. This is really the future of Salesforce automation. The future of Salesforce automation brought to you by Chatter, not as a bolt-on technology, a bolt-on collaboration system, but something that is core and is at the heart of Sales Cloud 2. So with that, let me go ahead and conclude the demo and hand things back over to Mark. Thank you.
Great job, Craig. Thank you very much. Dan, great job on the demo. Great to see the iPad under development. We're really excited to be able to present this to you today, to present the vision of Cloud 2. But what you saw in the sales application, you're going to see in not only all of our applications, but in the tools that we give you to build apps and in all of the apps that are available from our partners as well. So we're really delighted to have just a tremendous executive who's had a huge impact on our industry. You don't have to go very far to know that. Please give a very strong welcome to Michael Chow, the VP of Product Marketing of iPad for Apple Computer. Michael, please come welcome.
Thanks, Mark.
Great to see you, Michael.
Great to see you.
Michael, first of all, congratulations on the great success of iPad, and I know how personally involved you've been in that and how hard you've been working. And can you just give us a little update? How are things going with iPad these days?
Well, thanks, Mark. It's been an incredible ride. we have seen tremendous success with iPad, and we're just thrilled with the way consumers are responding to iPad. One thing we know for sure, people love their iPads. And not a day goes by when I don't hear from a user, an email, a call, someone stops me in the cafeteria, and they tell me a great story about how much they love their iPad. And I really never get tired of those stories. This morning, we actually announced that we sold our 3 millionth iPad.
Wow, that's amazing. 3 million.
An amazing number.
Wow, it's only been 80 days, I think, right?
80 days. And just to put that number into perspective, we sold, it took us 74 days to sell our first millionth iPhone. So 80 days for 3 million iPads, amazing.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Michael, you know, as I've gone all over the world, the thing that I've been really just stunned by is kind of the international acceptance of the iPad. In government, in business. I mean, I've had meetings with the CEOs of all the largest companies in Asia, and the main topic of conversation was my iPad. I mean, I even went to meet with the former Prime Minister of Japan, Hariyama-san, and here he is. He was interested in my iPad. So that was amazing. It's just stunning. And it translates universally. Why is that?
Well, I think what's amazing about the iPad, and you're right, that it really does resonate with a really broad range of users. And I think they see immediately from the form factor, from the small, light device, looks like paper, images look amazing on it, the big screen, the very natural multi-touch user interface. They really resonate with what they're able to see. And they immediately picture their applications, their information, their content, and the really intimate relationship they can have with it.
Michael, I had another question, which is that, you know, I noticed that when you shipped iPad version 1, it had the VPN. In fact, Dan was using the VPN to talk back to production data on that native app that we did. It had the native email integration so I could get to my work email and so forth. You know, how do you see iPad being used in the enterprise and with business? Here we have thousands of enterprises here who are, you know, looking for the next generation of computers. How should they be thinking about this?
Yeah, that's a great question. The wonderful thing about iPad is we really wanted to define an entirely new category of device. But we were able to do that building on the underpinnings of iPhone OS, or what we now call iOS. And it has built into it some great enterprise features. Great Exchange connectivity, Cisco VPN, enterprise-grade security. And so what that makes possible is a great platform for enterprise applications. Not just because it integrates well, because you can create amazing, fun user experiences on the iPad.
Well, it's been amazing, Michael, and we're huge fans of the device. I'm living on the product, and I was actually an employee of Apple in 1984, and I think
we actually met when you were back in 84.
That's right. So, and I wrote some of the first native assembly language on the Mac then, and I remember the pirate flags over the building, and the fruit juice, and Steve running around yelling at everyone. It was an amazing time, and you have been really at Apple almost that entire time, but you left for a short time. Is that right?
I did. I'm what we call a retread. So I worked there for a while. Yeah, worked there for a while and came back. But it's great to have you as an evangelist again for
I'm happy
Apple
to be doing it. It's great. Well, Michael, thanks so much for being here. We're just delighted to be working with Apple Computers. Please thank Michael Chow. And for those of you who haven't had the opportunity to experience iPad, if you look under your seats, we're giving away 10 free iPads today. And if you've got one of these under your seats, you're going to get one of those 10 free iPads today. So hopefully you'll find one of these under your seat right here. All right. All right, I think we got 10 winners. All right. All right, thank you very much. We got one right here. Thank you. All right. So, all right, so, okay, we got it with somebody back there. Very good. Did everybody find theirs? Can you hold it up if you have it? All right, yep, all right. Congratulations, everybody, on your free iPads, and more surprises coming. I haven't had that many people bow to me since I was in Japan. I wanted to bring up another great company today, a huge customer of Salesforce.com, and a great executive who's had a tremendous history with the industry, who's really shown us what's possible with cloud computing, not only using it for sales and service, but for custom applications as well. Please welcome John Miles, the VP of IT and CIO of Consumer and SMB for Dell. John, please come up on the stage.
Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Great to see you.
Great to see you,
hey,
too.
Thanks so much for being here today. We're just delighted to have you here. Now, John, tell us, give us a little update quickly on Dell. For those of us who have been living in a cave for the last, 30 years, can you tell us how is Dell doing today, the number of employees, the size and scope of the company?
Yeah, for those of you who have not been following Dell, we've had just a tremendous amount of changes over the past 18 months. We have acquired Perot Systems recently and now have a major multi-billion services company under our umbrella. We've got a rapid strategy to take us from being a product development organization to a solutions-oriented company. And with that, also a move into mobility and mobile devices.
Well, it's very exciting. And John, can you tell me, you've been pioneering Chatter inside Dell now for some time. I think Michael Dell is also on Chatter. I know I've gotten a few chatters and emails from him. How's it going so far with Chatter and Cloud 2 inside Dell?
Chatter has been greatly received in our pilot. We've been running about 500 individuals for about the past 4 months, many of them in my organization, and we've been using a couple different use cases. One has been, as we're doing product engineering, is to help coordinate the product management launches amongst the team, the release processes, the change management processes. Another thing we've been looking at it for is one of my partners here from BMC, we use their tools from incident change problem management, so we're using it as a way to track problems in the infrastructure and a way to collaborate around them. So it's been very worthwhile.
That's fantastic. John, can you tell us, what are some of the custom apps that Dell is building around Chatter that you've deployed with Force.com? Is there any app specifically that you've seen that you've been really impressed in as you've taken over the Salesforce relationship?
Yeah, we run, as you know, we're one of your largest customers, and we run...
I know that.
we run about 30,000 individuals on it, about 20,000 active, about 2.2 million customers in the US alone in our customer database. But we are building a new platform called Sales Central where we're integrating Salesforce.com and, more importantly, Chatter to create an experience around the Salesforce.
That's very exciting. So now tell me something, John. You saw my iPad. Is that your favorite device at Dell, that you're using the iPad every day?
That was kind of tough to sit through.
Oh, it was?
But, no, I've got a device that I actually like a lot better, having used them both.
And who makes that one?
This is actually a Dell device.
Ah,
it's called
all right.
the Streak. I know Michael's been talking to you about it, but it's a 5-inch form factor. Great device, using it to run Chatter if you want to take a look.
Fantastic. And will you be able to give a demonstration of that as well to some of our users who are here?
I'd love to.
Well, that's great. And so you're running Chatter right there on the device. And tell me, can you open the device and move it around and all those
you
kind
can.
of things?
Do you want me to put it under the wolf?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Thanks.
Let's take a quick look.
I'll pimp my device. So we call this the Streak, and it's available in Europe right now, and it'll be coming to the US later this summer on multiple carriers. And this is just our internal Salesforce instance. We're going globally on this on July 5th, as you know. So we'll be taking it out to all 30,000 users. Big win, we think, for the organization. And as you can see, I've got a number of active chats that have been going along. And per your earlier comment, on here we've got Michael as well.
Fantastic. That's great. And what is the operating system that you're running there on the Streak?
This is an Android.
Very good.
And this device has got a ton of just uses, from a GPS in your car to a camera to an HDMI link for your home.
That's great. And if our folks who are here today want to get a closer demo, are you available afterwards to show them up close and personal?
I'll be here afterwards. Thank you very much.
Great job. Hey, John, thanks for all your great support. Congratulations on your new device.
Thank you.
We're delighted to have you here. Please thank John Miles from Dell. John, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, the nature of apps is changing, and we've profiled our sales app. We've taken a look at what Dell is doing. We've talked to Apple, but we want to give you another insight into another key application category. Customer service and support is one of the largest application categories in the world today. Call centers, customer service organizations, portals for customer support, the fundamental integration of those portals with social networks. It's all changed. It's all changing. And I thought about who could I bring on this stage to really explain the change, to really show you what was possible. And so if you know him, he's a fantastic guy. He's my partner in starting Salesforce.com. He's my co-founder. He's our Executive Vice President of Technology. He's written all the code that you've seen up here today and manages our development organization. Please welcome Parker Harris. Parker. Welcome.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, Parker.
I'll take that from you.
Knock him dead.
I know it's awkward, but I'm going to take the stage from you as well.
All right.
Thank you. So I do want to talk about the Service Cloud. But before I get started, a lot of people in my team are here today from the technology and products team at Salesforce.com. They are the people, so I didn't write the code. I wrote the code a long time ago. They are the people that wrote the code, that tested it, that made the user experience great, that are running the service. And so if you're here from my team, please stand up and give you a round of applause for the incredible innovation you're bringing all of these people here. Thank you. All right. Okay, so we do want to talk a little bit about the Service Cloud. And Salesforce.com is a market leader in customer service and call center applications. And we do that with what we call Service Cloud 2. Gartner recognizes us as a leader. We're in the Magic Quadrant with Gartner. We have incredible product innovation, some of which I'll tell you about, some of which we're going to show you shortly. With Chatter, obviously, key integration, integration with telephony vendors like Cisco, and on and on and on. But most importantly, and many of you in the audience are our customers of the Service Cloud, is the customer success that we're delivering. Okay? We've got Google, we've got Starbucks, Orange UK, over 9,000 Service Cloud customers on the service today. And they are all incredibly successful. Across every metric, these customers are seeing success. And we measure that. We do independent surveys to make sure that our customers are successful. And with the Service Cloud, they are. And not only are they successful, we know that their customers are successful, which is the key to customer service, that the satisfaction is there. And when we got into this market, we saw that there is this big chasm, huge, huge chasm. There's a lot of technology that has existed for many, many years, but there's a disruption going on in this market because the customers, on the one hand, are out on the internet. And what are they doing? This is what I do. I don't call people for support because I hate call centers. I go to Google and I search on Google. Or I go to Twitter, see if people are talking about the same problem. Or I go to Facebook and get my friends to help me. But the technology that has existed for years from Oracle and Vantiv and Clarify and Siebel does not connect those call centers and those corporations that are using that technology with where their customers are. There's a huge chasm. Well, with Salesforce.com and with the Service Cloud 2, we connect those worlds. So you might be having your call center agents getting those screen pops and telephony. You might have email coming in or chat. But we're also connecting it to Google through search, to Facebook and Twitter, or any forum out there on the internet. All of those are getting connected because we are a cloud computing vendor. We live on the internet. We were born on the internet. We know the internet. And only from Salesforce.com can you get that solution that connects those two worlds. But we also looked at it and we said, how can we make it even better? What can my team that just stood up, what can they do to make the Service Cloud even better? And one of the things we looked at is, what is the key problem that's happening? When somebody tweets that they have a problem with the iPhone, or that they have a problem with Salesforce.com, or they have a problem with their car, whatever the vendor is, that service agent is going to get that case, get that problem, and then they're going to want to probably get some help within the corporation. The corporations are siloed. They're going to go get help possibly from the finance department if it's a billing issue, or technology. They may want to talk to people on my team if it's a technology issue, or legal, or on and on and on. All of those siloed organizations are there to help, but there's nothing that's connecting them. There's nothing that's connecting those people efficiently, other than email, which is not efficient, to connect those people to that service agent to solve that trouble ticket, to solve that customer's issue so that you get that customer satisfaction. Well, we do that today with Service Cloud 2 because Chatter is at the heart of the Service Cloud. Chatter is fundamentally at the core of everything we do, and with Service Cloud, or Service Cloud 2, Chatter brings it all together. When that agent needs help, Chatter is connecting that agent with the employee in product, with the person in finance, with the CFO if you need them. All of those people are pulled together in this dynamic environment. But even better to explain it, instead of my standing up here with words, I want to show you. So with that, I'd like to bring up Craig Svensrud back on stage. And Craig, I want you to show them what I mean by this connectivity. This is so incredible.
Sounds good. Thanks, Parker. So thank you very much, Parker. So this is going to be really exciting because this is the future of customer service, something we call Service Cloud 2, but let's show you a live demonstration of the technology. Let's go ahead and bring up the application. And now, in today's example, we're going to show you a high-tech company. We felt that would be fitting in Silicon Valley. What would life look like in the world of customer service for a computer manufacturer? Well, first, let's take a look at the fact that we are in the Service Cloud. The app looks the same in terms of the UI and the hyperlinks across the top of the screen, but here we are in the call center of Cirrus Computers. You can see across the top of the screen that agents at this company can not only handle inbound requests and solve problems over the phone, but also with email, with chat, and also using cloud-based channels like Twitter and Google and Facebook, and that's what we're going to show you right now. But first, let's start in the contact center. What happens when somebody picks up the phone and places a call into this company? Well, of course, we're integrated with the telephony system. Right here inside of the browser, we get a screen pop. We can answer the call. We know immediately who we're talking to. We have one integrated CRM application. So not only do we know that we're talking to Jill Peters and where Jill Peters is located, but we have the complete interaction history with Jill. Every touch point between sales, marketing, and customer service, the products that she's purchased, and her entire case history. Now, as a service agent, what we would typically do is we'd start by creating a new case. Listen to Jill over the telephone, and now Jill today is saying, you know what, I'm having trouble upgrading the memory on my laptop. And this is a pretty common question. It's the type of question that computer manufacturers and high-tech companies that we receive hundreds or thousands of times per day. So when we create a new case, the only thing that we need to do to solve this common question is reach into the knowledge base that's integrated with Service Cloud 2 and extract the answer. So now the knowledge base is built on our Force.com platform. It's part of Service Cloud 2. It's integrated into the process. The system starts to recommend the correct answer to me. You can see that right here at the bottom of the screen. And when we think we have the right answer, we could just drill in and have a look. So we can see here that this knowledge article can contain rich media, photos, imagery, HTML, Google videos, YouTube videos, and it can be structured to match your company. So your products might have a description. Your products might have procedures. If you're a high-tech company, which I know many of you in the audience are, you've got compatibility information. So as a service agent, when we've got the right article, all we have to do is attach this back to the case. We can do that with one click. And now over the telephone, we can relay this information to our customer, or we can just email this article to our customer so they can print it out and follow the step-by-step procedures. So that's a pretty common question. What is life like for a support agent at a high-tech company solving customer problems? But as Parker was mentioning, this is really not the future of customer service, handling questions over the telephone. You know, we've been trained on the web, we've been trained by Google, we've been trained by search engines that we don't need to pick up the telephone to ask a common question. All we have to do is open a web browser and go right here to Google. Because Google has trained us, it will guide us to the answer. If we want to know how to upgrade the memory on our laptop, we're more likely to go here than we are to pick up the phone and contact somebody in support. But what happens now when I just Google for the question, how do I upgrade the memory on my laptop? Well, no longer is your knowledge base, no longer are these answers locked behind the four walls of your company. They're not just accessible by the service agents who are picking up calls. They're accessible to the web. because with Service Cloud 2, you can now publish your knowledge base as a website on your public support website. So Google can find it, Yahoo can find it, other search engines on the web can find it. And when people Google their questions about your products and services, they can be brought to your public website where they can find the answers in a self-service fashion. And not only that, you can actually create with Service Cloud 2 an entire customer portal. It's part of the product. So your customers can not only get information publicly, but they can log into the website, they can log their own cases, they can manage their account on a self-service fashion. This is all part of Service Cloud 2. But that was a really simple question. How do I upgrade the memory on my laptop? It's a really common question. What about a lot of these complex questions? Questions that aren't just one and done in a call center or one and done on the web. What about things that actually require support, collaboration across the entire company? Well, let's have a look at one of those. Let's go ahead and bring back up the Service Cloud. And what you can see now, when Mark Nolan, our service agent, logs in, he, of course, not only has access to all the core functions of the call center, but he's got his own chatter feed. And in support, chatter is actually different than in sales because you care about different things. And this is the power of chatter, is that you're empowered as a user to follow the things across the company that you need to do your job. So in support, we might be following a marketing campaign and a promotion, because oftentimes a new marketing promotion sets off a flurry of activity in the call center. We're following right below that. You can see a knowledge article. Knowledge articles are chattering. So when the latest version of an article changes, you know about it as a support rep immediately who's supporting a particular product line. Also, customer records are chattering. You see that right below that on the screen. A customer's upgraded to premium support, and now the whole support organization knows it. Even streaming in information from the web. You can see that a UPS stream is chattering, saying there's shipping issues in a particular area, and of course, this has ramifications on the contact center. But of course, critical support cases are the big deal. We want to keep our customers happy and solve their problems. So right below that in the feed, what you can see is an alert that one of our support cases has crossed a milestone, and once again, we can just click through anything in the chatter feed and drill into the underlying detail. And so here we are on the case. Now, this is a more complex problem. A company has purchased 1,000 laptops, and they can't get the output resolution to work with the new mini projectors the company also produces. Sound like a common problem for your sales organization? Well, oftentimes, the solution to these problems is more complex. It's not just grabbing an answer out of the knowledge base and giving it back to a customer. You can see here that we've crossed a major milestone. At the bottom of the screen, you see that status bar that's red? That means we've crossed a milestone. In 12 hours, we were unable to reproduce this issue. And so what do? Well, you can see right here, the chatter feed provides an entire interaction history. You can see everything that's been happening inside the company to try and solve the problem. It's not just in your brain, or it's not lost on email. It's right here inside of the system. If you look from the bottom up, you can see the sales reps involved, saying there's a big deal on the table, we have to get this thing closed. You can see that Mark is sharing pictures and documentation the customer sent over. Now everybody can see that. You can see that another support agent is chiming in, saying, hey, did you try this or did you try that? But yet the problem is still unsolved. And typically in a support organization, this often results in escalation. So we bring more people into the mix. Well, you can see in the chatter feed right here that 3 people are working on this case. 2 people in support and Laura, the sales rep. Well, what happens when we escalate now? Let's go out to the case and press the escalate button. Now, typically in a support organization, this brings more people into the mix. But the thing that is key here with chatter is that chatter is pre-wired. It's built on the platform. It's pre-wired into the workflow. You can build it into your business process. So now when we escalate this case, not only do other people have access to the case, but take a look at this. We now have 4 more people added to the chatter feed. We have the engineer, Elliot. We have Eric, the product manager. We have Rob, the manager of support, and Viviana in QA. And now all of those folks get notified that there's an issue with a critical customer and a milestone has been crossed, and everybody can dogpile on the issue to get it closed. So what does that look like? What does Elliot see? Let's go ahead and bring up Elliot's screen. The engineer, when he logs on to Salesforce, his chatter feed in real time immediately shows the fact that this case has been escalated. Right? Mark kept mentioning real time, and Parker kept mentioning real time. The system is real time. When you chatter, everybody sees it. It works like the web, and it works like Facebook, and it works like Twitter, but it's private and secure for your company. So when Elliot logs onto his chatter feed, he can see that that's happened initially. He logs onto the case, and then he gets to work solving the problem. Now, for engineers at hardware companies, it's oftentimes a software driver that allows the laptops to work with the projectors. This is a pretty common problem in our world. And so Elliot gets to work on the fix. Now, when he's got the fix done, of course, he can push the code live to the website. But how does he communicate with everybody else in the company to solve the problem? So if we split the screen here, what you're going to see is Elliot is going to share the fix. He's going to share the instructions for how to install the new driver, where it's located. And when he chatters, as you just saw, the system reflects in real time, from the engineer to product management to QA, out to the support agents who are solving the customer problem. And now the support agent, Mark Nolan, sees that new file that's been posted from Elliot. In real time, everybody is communicating to solve the customer issue. And now, again, we could relay this information to the customer, populate it in the knowledge base, and our customer is happy. But there's one big thing we missed here. The hottest area of customer service in 2010. Parker was talking about it. The most visible area of customer service in the world that we live in right now is Twitter. Twitter is the fastest growing social community, over 100 million members, and Twitter is where people are talking publicly about your products, about your services. People are complaining, people are talking about issues they have, they're taking pictures, they're having conversations with the web, with their peers. And how is your company engaged in that? Well, Service Cloud 2 brings you right in. It brings you right into that conversation that's happening publicly on Twitter. Not only in the browser, many of you know that you can tweet right from the browser, but of course you can tweet from the mobile device. If so, we can bring up the iPhone, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you very much. If we bring up the iPhone, many of you know there's a host of Twitter clients for the iPhone and for the BlackBerry and for the Android. And we can tweet with a photo. So Dan is taking a picture of me on stage right now. And he's taking a picture of the problem, and this is something that's actually pretty common. People are taking pictures of the devices and the problems that they're having, and they're telling the world that they're having issues. So how is your company engaged in this? Now, of course, when we tweet from the iPhone, of course it goes all around the web, right? Everybody who's following this particular user, Dan Benson, on Twitter immediately knows that he's having an issue with this product. And it's in the browser, it's on the iPhone. Many of you who are in the audience, of course, can just see that that happened right now because it's open, it's exposed on the web. It shows up in the browser. In a couple of seconds, of course, Twitter updates its servers, and that shows right here inside of the browser. And it shows everywhere. There is the tweet right there on the screen. You see it from Dan Benson. Just came from the iPhone here on stage on the 3G network into Twitter's network with a photo with GPS on the iPhone, now into Twitter's network, and everyone on the web can see this. Anyone who's following Dan Benson can see it. Thank you very much. It's exciting. But here's what's even better. You think that was cool? Check this out. Let's go ahead and bring up the Service Cloud. Because back at our company, our agents that are monitoring all of our service interactions know that that just happened and can join into that conversation. Here we see all the tweets that we're monitoring at Cirrus Computers right now. All the tweets for all of our products. And those of you who are Salesforce users know that you can create filters and workflow rules that route cases to specific individuals. So let's go ahead and look at the tweets just from Dan Benson. You can see that that tweet that just happened on stage with the iPhone already is in the Twitter community, is visible to the world, has now made its way into the Service Cloud. And we've routed it to the right person inside the company that could solve the problem, and we've automatically created a case for it. So let's go ahead and open that case and take a look. How about that? The picture from on stage now inside of the Service Cloud. If that just doesn't show you it's real. And if we scroll down a bit, all these devices are geo-aware. How about the fact that that picture was just taken from the San Jose Convention Center here in Silicon Valley? Now in the Service Cloud. This is the future. This is the future. The future is geo-aware. The future can take pictures. The future lives in our pocket. The future has a GPS chip inside of it. And it's got to be integrated with our enterprise systems, and this is what Service Cloud 2 really delivers. So now how do we solve this customer's problem? The customer is tweeting about the same issue that our engineer just resolved. How do I get my laptops working with my projectors in the right resolution? Well, all our agent has to do now is reach into the knowledge base and grab that answer, same exact procedure as we saw earlier, attach that knowledge article to the case, and we're done. Right, but are we? because how do we actually get that information back out on Twitter? We can't email this to our customer, Dan, and we can't just pick up the phone and call him because he's actually living out in the cloud. He's living on Twitter. He's living in that community. Now we can send a tweet directly from the Service Cloud. So we can just grab that knowledge article, tweet this from within Salesforce. We can modify the text. We can modify the URL. We can make this personal, as companies are now doing in the Twitter community. And we can tweet this right here from the screen. You see it, an entire conversation logged inside of Salesforce. The interaction history is logged for support agents in the future. So they know when there's another issue, they can look back at this log. But it also shows up on the web. And everything is in real time. As Mark was mentioning, Cloud 2 is all about real time. So out on the web, if we go and flip back over to the Twitter screen, what you can see here is back on Dan Benson's homepage on Twitter. If we refresh the screen, there is the tweet from Cirrus Computers. There is the answer back out to our customer in real time, Cloud 2 on Twitter with a hyperlink to the answer. And when our user, our customer, clicks on that answer, he's brought out to our public support website where he can see the fix. And now, not only is our customer, Dan Benson, satisfied, not only did he get his answer on Twitter, the community that he lives in, but now the entire web knows that our company is delivering modern customer service. So that's a vision of the future of customer service with Service Cloud 2. And now, back to Parker and Mark. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Craig. Awesome demo. And demos are always a lot of fun to show you what's going on. But we also at Salesforce really like to hear from the customers. And with that, I would like to bring up Mike Leopold, who's here from Motorola. He's the director of IT at Motorola. And he's flown all the way here to come speak with you. Thank you, Mike.
How you doing?
Good to have you up here. So, Mike, Motorola is a big user of Salesforce, is my understanding. Tell the audience a little bit more about where you're using our technology and our service at Motorola.
Sure. So, a lot of you probably know Motorola from its smartphones and mobile device, but Motorola is really comprised of two big companies. The first being focused more on enterprise, major wireless network providers, government and municipalities, and that's known as our enterprise mobility solutions and network business. The other business is really a consumer-based business, and that's where you see the array of smartphones, mobile devices, as well as a home business. Many of you, if you have cable set boxes, more likely than not, that box that sits on top of your TV is a Motorola box, and that's just one of the products we sell along with end-to-end infrastructure to deliver mobile solutions for major media providers. So those are the two sides. Across both those businesses, we have over 2,500 internal sales agents using the Sales Cloud on Salesforce to manage opportunities, forecasting, everything we saw in the first presentation today. On the homes piece of the business, we've actually just recently went live on the Salesforce Service Cloud. We have over 500 agents across the globe utilizing the Service Cloud since mid-May, and that went very well for us, so we're excited about that.
Fantastic. So you're using our Sales Cloud. You're using, I believe, partner relationship management to get out to your partners with the Sales Cloud. You're using the Service Cloud. And I think it's really cool. You're one of our beta customers with Chatter. So with all of those uses of Salesforce, how did Chatter change that experience or make it, enhance it?
Well, Chatter, we have Chatter set up, and we've been running it for some time in our sandbox environment. And it's very interesting. I mean, it really blows people away when they see it for the first time. And others, it may confuse. I know I didn't have the ability to turn around and see the hands when we asked about Facebook and Twitter accounts. But anybody whose hands weren't up for the Facebook or the Twitter, they're really taken off guard by this capability. It's the first time they're seeing it, they're blown away. Usually, they'll go get a Facebook account like later in the afternoon then, because they think it's so cool. So the big driver at Motorola, when we brought in the Service Cloud, is really the collaboration piece between our sales team and how we sell a customer, that view, and how we service a customer through post-sales. So the big driver in moving to the Service Cloud was that collaboration, and we're seeing the ability to do things that we haven't done before, where sales team folks can see what's going on as far as the support side, and if there's anything that they need a heads up on. We have the ability to have our service folks actually pass on opportunities to the sales team who's on the same sales platform. Maybe a service contract renewal is coming up, and so they can feed that lead back to the sales team. To answer your question about chatter, and I'm getting there in a long answer, but I mean, chatter really exponentially takes that to the next step. Yeah. And so there's a lot of excitement. We do plan on turning that on in production.
Fantastic.
Our sales force, our call centers are now working out and getting used to the move to the Service Cloud, and that's the next big thing for us.
That's amazing. Well, you know, as the head of technology and products, I would love more of your feedback, and obviously from all of you out there, if you could come find me, because we want to make chatter even better. We want to make the Service Cloud even better, the Sales Cloud. Now, what's next for Salesforce and Motorola? I know earlier you were, you know, it seems like everybody is here with yet another amazing mobile device, and as Mark was saying earlier on stage, everything's going mobile. So what do you have here?
So this is, actually this is my device, and it's pretty beat up, so I'm not going to throw it under the Elmo, because this isn't anything that my product guys give me. This is my life, you know, on the phone. But I think we've heard the theme here, right? I mean, it's everybody in this room sees the move to mobility, mobility computing. And Motorola is obviously uniquely positioned to provide devices in that space. You know, Android, and we've heard about Android today, is one of the hottest mobility OSs going on. Similar to how Salesforce has created a market or an app exchange where many of you partners can actually build apps. You know, Android provides that as well on a mobility function. So I think what I see continuing going forward is working together in partnership in how we take these applications, utilizing Salesforce's platform capability, and make them mobile through devices provided by preferably Motorola.
Absolutely, Mike. You'd be happy to know that I do have a team working on a native Android chatter application that'll be out later this year, that'll work on your device and just be fantastic for Salesforce and Motorola.
Right. Good to hear.
All right, well, thank you, Mike. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you, Parker.
With that, Mark, we'd love you to come back on. I think we have a few more things to tell the audience.
Great job. Thank you so much. Fantastic. Parker, great job. You guys are doing a great job with the products. Please thank Parker.
Thank you.
And our whole development team. Thank you so much. All right. Well, we're seeing a lot of exciting things. We've seen some different kinds of applications today. I'm sure you'd agree. A new kind of sales app, a new kind of service app. Do you think these are just great examples of the changes? And you've seen that these apps just look and act differently. The devices that they're on are different. The way that the users are interacting is different because our industry is changing. So how can you build these apps yourself? You know, these apps are all built on Force.com, our platform for cloud apps. Everything that you've seen so far is built on Force.com. So if you're a customer and you have apps that you need to deploy internally and you don't want to buy another database, you don't want to buy another app server, you don't want to buy another piece of hardware, you don't want to have to worry about the security infrastructure, you don't want to have to worry about the scalability, the security, the reliability, availability. We handle all that for you. You focus on your app, we'll focus on everything else. That's what cloud computing is all about. And that's why we've become the leading cloud platform for building these Chip Cloud 2 apps. And broadly recognized, we have over 160,000 apps on this platform. And this is everything from custom websites, you know, like even the UCSF website that you saw earlier, to websites from Dell and Starbucks and many others, to custom apps that are running inside the company, or custom apps that are running on your iPhones or iPads or Blackberries or Android devices. Look, traditional platforms are just too expensive. They haven't changed. There's plenty of companies within a 5-mile radius of right here who are very happy to sell you another piece of hardware or another piece of software. I'm sure everyone here would agree. Or another piece of networking equipment. But the reality is, for a lot of these apps, it's too expensive, it's too complicated, it's too slow. There has to be a better way. That's why we've been working on building this Force.com platform. We focused on the infrastructure. We've built the security in, the reliability, the scalability, the speed, and you can track it all at trust.salesforce.com. You can see how many transactions did we deliver, at what performance, at what scale, across the world. Everything is transparent and open to you at trust.salesforce.com. That's a clear sign that you're working with a cloud computing company and not a false cloud when you can see a trust site like that. We have one, Amazon has one, eBay has one. And not just that, upgrades are now happening for Salesforce customers within 5 minutes. So you have almost no downtime during the upgrade cycle. We have proven real-time integration, sandbox environments like you heard from Motorola, and the ability for Salesforce tenants to talk to each other through something called Salesforce to Salesforce. And we currently have 3 global data centers and disaster recovery built in, and we recently announced we're going to be working on a new data center in Tokyo for next year. Now, on that infrastructure, we've built the development tools so that our developers, or you, can build these apps rapidly. Elastic database services, so you don't have to buy another SQL database. Programmable user interface, Java or Apex code in the platform. Visual process manager, so you can build that workflow. Deploy as a website instantly. Deploy on a mobile platform instantly. Deploy the integrated content library capabilities instantly. Real-time analytics, all the dashboards already built in. Or the knowledge management. And if there's components that you need on appexchange.com, there's over 800 apps with one click, our own version of Apple's App Store, but for enterprise software, that you can access that code just with one click. And now, starting today, a new product, a new version of the platform, a new vision, where profiles and status updates and groups and feeds and the content sharing and the app updates and the security and sharing models and the APIs and the integration with Google and Facebook and Twitter that you saw today, all automatically built in. So there's no work for you to do to get that collaboration. You can have your own Facebook inside your company. You can have your own vertical version of Facebook in your enterprise, but with the security and trust and privacy that you need. That is the power of Force.com. That is the power of the world's first collaboration platform. It's been 20 or 30 years since Lotus Notes, since we really had a collaboration platform that was state-of-the-art, that you could build collaboration apps, that you could easily share and manage information, and that worked on modern devices. And look, IBM just didn't move it forward. They just didn't move the platform forward. Microsoft just didn't move SharePoint forward fast enough into cloud computing. And Force.com is now the fastest way to build these cloud apps. Companies are able to reduce their 3-year TCO by 54%. IDC says, after talking to hundreds of our customers, 5 times faster and half the cost with Force.com. 5 times faster and half the cost, and huge savings in staffing and development time. And bam, today, 160,000 custom Force.com apps, you can instantly turn on Chatter. All of the capabilities that you saw now available in those apps. And as we release those new features and functions 3 times a year, they're all automatically inherited into the app. That's the power of cloud computing. The inheritances automatically happen. We've also recognized that for us to really reach out, and I just mentioned it briefly, it's not just about Apex for us, but it's also about Java. We recognize that enterprise Java developers just don't have a clear path to the cloud. You know, there's 6 million of these developers, and they want to build apps like the ones you just saw. So that's why we're working on building now the world's first enterprise Java cloud with VMforce, our partnership between VMware and Salesforce.com, to become the trusted enterprise cloud for these 6 million Java developers. That's why I'm so delighted to introduce you now to one of the really great leaders of our industry. Please welcome the President and CEO of VMware, Paul Maritz. Paul, come on up here. Please welcome Paul Moritz. Paul, thanks so much for being here today. Great to see you.
Great to be. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that I've got bad news, a complaint, and good news.
All right, let's hear it, Paul.
The first is the bad news is for those of you fellow Africans out here, South Africa got eliminated from the World Cup this morning.
Oh, sorry about that.
The complaint is I didn't have one of those iPads under my chair.
Well, Paul, you know what? I could remedy that situation very quickly. But no, somebody took my free ticket. I wonder who it is. Somebody's claiming one right now.
The good news is, as you know, Mark, we are in the process of moving VMware for our internal use of moving off Siebel. And last month we moved over our core Salesforce from Siebel to Salesforce.com, and the process went flawlessly.
Fantastic. Paul, thank you very much for that.
A lot of people inside saying free.
We all have to do our part to move to cloud too, Paul. We all have to do our part. Thank you.
Well, it's great to be with you here today because we've got something really exciting we're working on here together.
Absolutely. Paul, you know, can you just tell us, look, we've been working together for on and off in different parts of the industry for almost 30 years. Can you tell us, what is your vision for developers building apps going forward, especially with this great acquisition you did with SpringSource for VMware? How is this all fitting together?
Well, I think there are three important things that we're trying to do together here. One is to provide a path for Java developers, who are the largest community developers in the world today, to have a way that they can take all of their skills and take advantage of the cloud, that they don't have to worry about obtaining infrastructure. They can focus on the core logic of their applications, and they can move their applications into the cloud. The second, I think, important thing is a lot of those developers not only want to be able to move into the cloud, but they want to be able to build upon that platform that you've built up. They want to be able to write in a modern way and tap into all that functionality that you already have for them in the Salesforce cloud. And then thirdly, wouldn't it be good if when you moved your Java applications into the cloud, the basic framework or API for doing that was actually available across clouds, so that you could, with greater rather than less effort, move your application between various clouds that are going to be out there. And that's really at the heart of what we're working on together, which is taking the Spring framework, which is the leading way that Java applications are written today. More than half of the lines of new Java code are being written in the context of the Spring framework. And we're working together to instantiate that Spring framework in the Salesforce.cloud, and we call that VMforce.com. And got a lot of very positive reaction from developers from that. And then, as you know, we also last month extended this coalition here by an announcement with Google. And Google is also going to be taking the Spring programming framework and using that as the basic API for their App Engine cloud. So really good news for developers is how they're going to be able to tap into both all the benefits of the cloud and the specific functionality that they can get out of Salesforce.com.
Well, that's great news, Paul, and you're doing a fantastic job as CEO of VMware, just creating a whole new vision for the Java community. Can you tell me, how have customers and developers and press, you know, you're going all around the world like I am, what's been the reaction
Well, as I said, it's been a very positive reaction, and part of this is this notion of building bridges. Much as companies like ourselves, VMware, and your customers are now moving into the cloud, there's a bunch of legacy that has to stay behind, and we need to build bridges. So what we're doing here is taking a technology that will allow you to write applications that will be deployed according to your business needs, either into the Salesforce.com cloud, into the Google cloud, or back into your own internal infrastructure, because the programming framework isolates you from all of the plumbing underneath. And that message of building bridges and allowing people to get into the full benefits of the cloud in an orderly way is getting really positive reaction.
Well, I have to ask you, because how many years were you at Microsoft, Paul?
Nearly 15 years.
15 years, and you did a lot of pioneering work. Is this the first time you've seen Microsoft protest a vendor?
Well, I'm told actually that we have now made it on the public enemy list as well at
Oh
Microsoft.
my gosh. Well, welcome. You've made it then. Congratulations.
Thanks
Paul
a lot.
Moritz. Thank you very much. Please thank Paul Moritz, CEO of VMware. Look, our job is very, very simple. It's to empower and enable the developers, and that's why we're working hard to make all these native ISV apps built on Force.com and VMforce social and collaborative. And in fact, 35 new collaboration apps are available today on our Chatter Exchange, which is the Chatter version of App Exchange, and you can find those at appexchange.com. And I just want to welcome all those companies, and you're going to be able to see many of those companies in the trade show that directly follows today's presentation. App Exchange is continuing to grow with lots of new categories of apps, and we're very happy to announce that we believe that now, based on our absolute best estimates, that the App Exchange has now generated more than $350 million for developers who are participating on the App Exchange. And of that $350 million that has been sold on the App Exchange, now more than $150 million of that is recurring to those developers through the annuity models that have been generated on the App Exchange. I also want to say we take nothing off of that, 100%. 100%. I hear something. 100% goes to the developer. So, wait. Oh, something's coming. Something's happening. Yeah. Can we turn it up? That's... Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to play the Force.com Chatter dating game. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our ISV contestants for today. Direct from Houston, Texas, we've got Kia Bonilla, the Senior Vice President and CTO of BMC Software. Brian Bell, the Senior Vice President and General Manager of CA Technologies. Stacy Epstein, VP of Marketing, ServiceMax. And right here, our local favorite, Tom Gonzer, Chief Strategy Officer, DocuSign. Please welcome them. All right, well, welcome, contestants, to the Force.com dating game. These are your customers, or prospective customers, and we hope to match you up with them today. So, Kia, welcome.
Thank you, Mark.
BMC Software, Senior Vice President, Chief Technology Officer, expert in?
IT Service Management.
IT Service Management, and you're looking good today, Kia.
Thank you, Mark.
You want to tell us a little bit what you've been doing with Force.com?
Yeah, so we announced actually our partnership with Salesforce last year, and we're so excited to see the traction we're gaining. Since April 26th, when the product went live, we have over 700 trials right now. And really, the partnership has really surpassed our expectation. The code's running great. We love the development platform. And just today, we're announcing the next stage in our partnership, which is expanding our sales partnership with Salesforce around go-to-market.
Very good, Kia. And do you have a demonstration of this great product we can see? Because I bet a lot of people here are looking for that IT help desk type technology.
Absolutely.
In the cloud.
In the cloud. We're taking that into the cloud. So I'll introduce Chad. Chad's going to take us through the product.
Welcome, Chad. Thanks. Great to see you again.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Kia. So we're going to spend the next couple of minutes looking at our IT service desk in the cloud, which is called BMC Service Desk on Force.com. It's available in our booth, so we can show you demos later today, or you can even go get your own free trial at bmc.com/force. Let me set up the scenario a little bit, because I know a lot of people in the audience today are from the sales side or from the development side. Our application is focused on IT. So when all of you have an issue with one of these nice new smart devices, trying to connect it to your Wi-Fi network or something like that, who do you call? You call your IT guys, and then something happens in the back room, and then eventually you get an answer back on that, on how to solve that. And our application is all about making that back room, the help desk analysts in the back room, as productive as possible, so you get your answers faster to improve your customer satisfaction. So what I'm looking at right now is our BMC Service Desk on Force.com application. You'll notice, as I'm sure Mark's about to ask me, we built this from the ground up on Visual Force within the Force.com platform. So rather than try to rework one of our existing service desk applications, we leveraged all of our experience over the last many years in the service support area to build this application from scratch on the Force.com platform. It allows the end user to quickly navigate to just about anything in the application from a single click with on the front screen. In fact, the dashboards that I'm looking at here, which give me a combination of graphical views and text-based views, are all configurable by the end user themselves. Over here on the right side, I have some more navigation capabilities around action items, around searching, and our new feature, which we're announcing in our summer 2010 release, incorporating chatter into the service desk application for unprecedented levels of collaboration within the IT organization.
Well, that's very exciting, Chad. And I think that, Kia, this is the first time you're demonstrating the new chatter-enabled service desk application. Is that right?
Absolutely. And we're very excited about both chatter and the mobility functions of the platform. This allows us to focus on functionality rather than the plumbing, which is historically one of the challenges when you're supporting enterprise applications.
That's fantastic.
So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time educating you on chatter because I think you've all heard a lot about chatter today. What I'm going to talk about is within our application, we have built in rules that allow the help desk analysts to be automatically added to incidents or frequently asked questions or other objects within the system so that by rule, they're automatically added as followers so they can jump in and help. Here I'm logged in as an analyst, Jill Robinson, who sees that John Adams is having a problem with their Wi-Fi network, and I can quickly respond to that to help. And you have to understand in IT, a lot of times there's lots of tickets coming in, people just work the tickets they have, they don't tend to look at the person sitting 2 doors or 2 chairs down from them for a solution. So this is really pushing that collaboration into their face to some degree to make sure that happens. So we'll just say, you know what, John, you need to change the password and reconnect. And sorry, I don't use the Apple that much. And I'll go ahead and comment.
Well, in Cloud 2, Chad, you can choose any computer that you want.
Absolutely, that's the key. So now I've jumped over to what John's looking at, and when I look at the screen here, I see that John has some chatter information here on his screen, and I can quickly update this. Simply click the Add Resolution and Close button, and it's going to populate the resolution field. It's also going to change the open status to closed, and we're done. At that point, that's all I've had to do to solve this particular issue, and we're all done.
Well, that's super exciting, Chad. Tell us, Kia, what kind of customers are you looking for? What kind of people would you like to meet here today?
So in the past, enterprise-class service management tools were a luxury for large enterprises with lots of budget to buy servers, databases, and software. What we've done with this application is that we're targeting organizations of all sizes. Almost every organization, whether you have 10 employees or 1,000 employees, you're going to need an IT that's powered to collaborate, communicate, and focus on delivering services rather than the software that goes into delivering that function.
Fantastic. Kia, great to have you here. We're looking forward to seeing that app a little bit later in more detail.
Oh, one last thing. We're going to have both the iPad and the iPhone apps as well, both for the end users to open incidents and close them, as well as the mobile workforce.
Fantastic, fantastic. Kia, very impressive. Brian Bell, the Senior Vice President and General Manager of CA Technologies, formerly known as Computer Associates. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Brian, what are you doing on Force.com?
We're doing a lot of great things, Mark. Really excited to be here. Thanks for the invitation. I think we created a partnership. We've been talking with you for about 18 months about what could CA do as we move many of our applications to the cloud. One of the core businesses at CA is really helping customers accelerate the agility in which they deliver business services. And agility is driving the change in the way we build new products. And one of the biggest trends right now in application development is the move towards agile development methodologies.
Absolutely. How many people here use agile development methodology in your companies? Quite a few.
Right. Yeah, and that's consistent. I think we estimate about 40% of enterprises of all sizes are using agile development to build new applications, and we expect that to go up to about 80%.
Very exciting. All right, well, do you have a great demonstration of this product
and this
today?
Is Michael Lester behind
Welcome.
you, who's going to demo the product.
Why don't you show us, let's see this great new agile development methodology system.
So as Brian had mentioned, organizations are moving quickly to agile. It's kind of disrupting what was the traditional project management space in the same way that the cloud is changing. And core to this really is about communication and collaboration, what's happening between the customer, the developer, the development team, but also between those members of the development team. So we looked at it and said, communication and collaboration is really core to this. So if we look at how a development team actually works, they're going to come in, they're going to be talking back and forth, they're going to be having conversations. In this case here, we can see a quick, simple chatter feed of what's happening or what has happened. In my role as a product manager, the way we're looking at using it is, I'm constantly wanting to find out what's the status, what's going on, how are customers receiving this. I can see that information, but I also have on the side some simple analytics. So Agile is popular and famous for having its own ways of looking at project status, but With Chatter, I can also look at a chart here that shows me the frequency of the discussions that are happening. So I can look at it as a product manager and say, there's a lot of discussion happening right now. There may be a lot of confusion, a lot of concern, what's happening. The team maybe not understand what the customer's requirements are. Or I can actually come over to the virtual wall here and I can look and see, this is a metaphor that teams actually use today when they're doing Agile manually. They'll take note cards, they'll write the requirement or a task on it, and they'll stick them on a wall inside of their office. The challenge is, like, for example, my team is scattered on 3 different continents.
If you had written this in Visualforce, you could have easily drag and drop those little note cards anywhere you'd want them.
I actually can pick those right up and just drop it right over there.
Fantastic. Well, this must be in Visualforce.
It must be. And so the beauty is once
Now I just have to ask you,
yes.
what database did you choose to run this application on? Is it Oracle?
I think we all know the answer to that question.
Is it Microsoft SQL Server?
No.
What is it?
It's running on the Force.com platform.
So you didn't have to make a database decision?
Didn't have to make a decision about that at all.
Can you give us some what has development been like for you guys? Look, you're the what are you, the 3rd largest software company in the world? You can afford to choose anything, use anything. Why did you choose this, and what has it been like to build with Force.com?
It's been great. I mean, there were really 3 reasons we chose to build on Force.com. It was the ease and the speed. We estimate we were able to build this application from concept to delivery in 6 months, about 3 to 4 times faster than we would normally have built an application, because we didn't have to worry about managing and building out a lot of the underlying infrastructure. And secondly, we take advantage of all that you build on Force.com. The fact that you now have launched Chatter in Force.com is a huge advantage for us to roll out social collaboration in the applications that we have.
Very exciting. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Mark.
Great to see you guys. Thank you. And you're here to show everybody this later?
Yep.
All right. Well, our 3rd contestant, Stacy Epstein here, VP of Marketing of ServiceMax. Welcome. Great to have you.
Great to be here.
Can you tell us a little about ServiceMax and what you guys have been doing?
Yes, we have a 100% native Force.com application. It is a suite of field service applications. So we extend the Service Cloud to companies that have to send technicians into the field to service their customers' problems.
Fantastic. And do you have something to show today?
I have something super cool to show
All
today.
right. Welcome.
I'm going to actually, this is Scott Berg.
Welcome, Scott.
I'm going to actually show 2 innovations that we've created that really are the future of field service for us. So the first is something we call ServiceMax Product Chatter. We used device monitoring technology from Exida to have products actually chatter to us. So these aren't people and this isn't data or systems. This is a product at my customer site telling me that it's down and it needs to be fixed. So you'll see here, I'm a service manager and I look at my chatter to see what's going on and I see, uh-oh, there's a heart rate monitor that's down at the Benioff Children's Hospital. We better get to that fast.
Never a good situation.
Very important customer. So I immediately know, and my CEO sees this too, so I better get on the job. So I scale down to our chatter map, which is our 2nd innovation. This shows you the volume of chatters that are going on out in the field. This is also available for free download on the App Exchange. So I can click this dot. If we had time, I'd take you into our full suite and show you how quickly we could schedule and dispatch the right technician to the job. But for the sake of time, I will have Scott show you that he's on his mobile device. He's a technician in the field. He gets a quick alert on his mobile device.
All right, and can we go to the Elmo?
Hopefully we'll see the mobile device on the Elmo. There we go. So Scott's in the field. He gets a quick alert on his device and sees that a work order has been assigned to him. He can go in and see all the pertinent details about the problem that he needs to fix and go to the site quickly. But when Scott gets to the site, he's got problems. He can't fix the problem. Now, in the old world, what would have happened? He probably would have packed up and left, and a couple days later, another technician come out. But in the new world, Scott can collaborate. So he can talk to other field service technicians, and he sees that Cole is another technician who's got the same problem. That probably doesn't help him. But he can also go back and see that Jason, who's an expert back at home, has the answer. So he can quickly solve the problem. He can close out the work order. And you'll see when we go back to the home screen that once the product is back up and running, it will update and tell us that the problem is fixed. Now imagine that that could have happened before the customer even knew that there was a problem.
Pretty exciting.
So the future of field service. Thanks
Beautiful.
to Chatter.
Thank you very much for being here. Great job. Well done. Really exciting. And our fourth and final contestant, Tom Gonzer, the Chief Strategy Officer of DocuSign. Great to have you guys here.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Can you tell us a little about DocuSign and Cloud 2?
Yeah, DocuSign is the world's largest electronic signature platform. We actually have more than 4.5 million users who trust our platform every day with their contracts. And we actually share some big customers, Expedia, DuPont, Comcast, big customers like this. What we did is we took DocuSign and built it directly into Salesforce. So our customers can completely remove paper from the sales cycle. They can close it in the cloud. So close deals in minutes rather than days.
Now that sounds really great. Electronic signature capability. I know we're coming up actually on a big anniversary of the eSign Act.
That's right,
coming
10
up
years.
Pretty soon. 10-year anniversary. Yeah, do you have something you could show us today?
We do, but before I show you, a lot of times people ask me, so you're at this Chatter event, what have you done with Chatter? So what we did is, if you think about what you look, when you're looking at an opportunity or an account mark, and you look at it, sometimes you're wondering, what's going on with this?
That's what I usually am doing.
Is the contract out? Have they seen it? Have they signed it? What's going on? So what DocuSign has done is embedded Chatter right into that flow so that everybody who's following an opportunity can see exactly what's going on in the contract. So
Fantastic.
The whole sales team can collaborate to close it even faster.
Outstanding.
So yes, we do have a demo. And if you remember earlier, Craig had a demo with Green Dot Media.
Yep.
And he was, I believe, selling some Cisco equipment, and it was a presentation that he presented. Well, they called back, and they want to close the deal. So we want to close the deal up here on the stage, and I know, Mark, you like to close the deal. So I want to make sure we get this done.
I'm trying my best.
So what you're looking at is the same org and the same opportunity that Craig was demoing. And what we're going to do is just scroll down the page, and we want to send this with DocuSign in order to send off the contract to sign. He said he wants the deal. Let's get him to it right away. This brings up a really simple interface that allows me to send the contract. This interface looks a lot like a Salesforce email. It allows me to send the contract for signature right out of Salesforce. So let's go ahead and send it. And as easily as that, I've actually sent a contract for signature through the cloud. Now, what I normally would do in this process is probably chasing paper around. I might have printed it on the printer. I might have faxed it out. I might have emailed it out. And my customer then has to figure out where the contract is, print it out. Hopefully, they'll sign it. But in our case, what we're going to be doing is using the electronic process, and with Chatter watching what's going on, we're actually going to
we got multiple devices.
do this electronically.
This is exciting.
It turns out our customer's on an iPad. So let's bring up Chatter, and you can see that it's telling everybody on my sales team that the contract's been sent for signature. So it looks like it was sent about a minute ago. So that's great. So now let's flip over to the iPad. And so my customer's mobile. He's got his iPad. Maybe he's on the golf course. Maybe he's in his office. Doesn't really matter where, because with the iPad, you can be anywhere. And because you can be anywhere, I can get you to sign a contract in record time. So he pulls up his iPad, and it's generated an email to him to come sign a contract. It looks like my demo's doing what yours did.
I think that we're having the same network capability Steve had on the iPhone 4 launch. It's exciting. Now I feel like we've really made it, actually, if we have all of that network traffic happening.
So he pulls up his email. So what he's going to do normally here is pull up his email, and what it'll do in the iPad screen is using the browser in the iPad. No, you have to go buy an application to do this. Just brings up in the browser screen the ability to adopt an electronic signature, view that contract, and sign it right there in real time.
Fantastic. Well, we'll complete the demo in the booth. Thanks very much for being here. Really appreciate it. And now, thank you very much. We're all good?
I knew that would happen. It happened on that first day.
Look, I hope we've done a good job for you today. We want to welcome you to Cloud 2. We really think this is an exciting new movement in technology. I want to thank you for sitting through this incredible presentation. I also want to invite you to Dreamforce 2010, which will be December 6th through 9th. We'll have Stevie Wonder there. President Bill Clinton will be speaking, and I hope you'll be there too. Send me an email if you need anything from salesforce.com at co@salesforce.com, and thank you for attending today's Cloudforce 2010.